Kawakubo, and it was really interesting to listen to all the three presentations or opinions that I thought that really are the core of the talk. So I may just put a little to it, because I think that we have already all the materials to have a good discussion. So maybe let's start with a kind of my own experience, and then we can start kind of a discussion, conversation altogether. So I guess that most of you don't know about me. So this is a work that I showed in Japan, but also when I was here as a resident of the Art Action UK program. And it's a kind of photograph, it's a print from a film, a photographic film that I buried in a nuclear radioactive area very close to the Fukushima power plant. And I was doing a kind of test, and it occurred that I got this without having any photographic shot. I went in to develop that, and I got this. So I just enlarged it and printed it in a size that can't be held by a single person. That was one of the aims. So it's not a scientific test, but most likely it's with radiation, because with other films that I've also been doing tests in other different places where radiation is lower. In this place you have 36 microsieverts per hour, which is very high, so you don't want to be there for a long time, you know. But it's most likely it's radiation. But when I showed this in an exhibition in Japan, in the Royal Ueno Museum of Art, it's like a group exhibition where young artists get nominated from curators and experts every year. Yeah, so every year there's a new kind of edition, and so that this got a prize from a museum, one of the 5 prizes. So press came to cover it, to cover the whole exhibition, because it has annually, and it's like a place to see new artists, young artists, and emerging artists. And two of the newspapers of the press that came, they were asking for new works that deal with. This happens in March, which is always every year kind of the period where people start thinking how many years has passed since Fukushima and things like that. So after the disaster, so they were trying to cover a story of any artist that could be dealing with artworks regarding the disaster in northeast Japan. And the curator would say, yeah, we have Seo, which is one of the artists that was resident in Art Action UK 1 year before me. She did also paintings of Rikuzen Takada, which is a city that was disappeared after the tsunami. And you have Yoi Kawakubo, who is here, that did this work about Fukushima and things. And they were like, oh yeah, but our newspaper can't talk about Fukushima, so yeah, we will cover the story. So you can see, and then the newspaper, well, there were 2. One is the Yomiuri newspaper, which is like a rights, essential rights newspaper. It's really big. It's one of the 2 biggest newspapers in Japan. And the other was Sankei Shimbun, Sankei newspaper, which is also very right-wing, and you see a lot of connection with political right-wing parties. So it's in a way comprehensible, because they have their own agenda about NG words and things that they don't want to touch, because of course they have patronage and they have sponsorship and funding from a lot of different companies, and most of the big companies in Japan have something to do with with TEPO and things related. So that was one of the things that is kind of my own experience. It's not about maybe the cultural agenda, it's more about the political, economic structure that sometimes it's in back of the arts scene or structure might be there. And another thing that I wanted to comment is that one thing that is happening a lot in Japan now is that there are a lot of small local biennials, triennials, and in these 10 years, maybe 15 years, you could see many popping up. And of course it's a good thing because you have more local engaged art and social practices with this becoming much more and more kind of not main part, but one of the streams in art. Was on the other hand, you can see how all this money comes from funding like the Arts Council, and they have, of course, all the institutions that are created to host these small biennials, triennials, and annual art festivals. They have a target of people and revenue and also sponsors. And then there's a moment when the budget and the number of artists, the institutions want to call a lot of artists, but the budget is limited. So then there comes a moment when artists start to be kind of younger and younger artists are kind of being called so they can make more artworks and space so people they can attract more and more. But there's a moment when it's like are the artists being utilized, or are artists using the as a platform? And so then the question of what is art for becomes kind of like a loop ending in nowhere, because yeah, you want people to see it, but for that well, the institutions need numbers, and then for that to achieve that estimates or goals, they start sometimes they put pressure, not pressure, but they curate in ways that might differ from the original artwork, sometimes not, of course. So then I think that there is always this stream of funding that is always from up to down, and then of course the artist might try to discuss with the curator might want to discuss with the director might want to discuss with the the institute organization that is giving the main funding. Usually it's governmental funding. And then, of course, the government is the government of Japan, and it's not a very liberal, well, not liberal in the economic way, but it's slightly right-wing government. So there have been these months some comments from the ministry of who was the minister that said that curators should be wiped out, and minister of education. Yeah, he
culture and education.
Yeah, it was like a slip of the tongue. He was just making like a seminar or to local tourism engagement organization or something like that, and they were like, yeah, we need more power, local power to attract tourism. We need a lot of energy, and in terms of that, what curators in museums do is nothing. They just want to keep the old artworks that don't call anyone's interest. They need to do something more entertaining and joyful. So and then after that, for a few days, there were a lot of tweets and feedback from a lot of people saying what the hell is our minister saying? And eventually he apologized in public and saying that, no, I'm sorry for what I said, it was a mistake. But whatever he said, he is different from what he is actually thinking. He was asleep all the time. So you could feel the level of intellectualism that these people have when they're talking about that. So if that people are deciding where the money is going, of course you can figure the rest. So, well, my experience is a little bit different from what Jessica was talking about, but I think in the core there is something of that. But so, and the other thing I was thinking that when we tried, so these assessments always like these positive success stories, as Jane was saying, that you need something that has been really brilliant, homemaking, and failure is seen as such a bad thing. But yeah, in everything is reduced into failure or success. So that's the bad thing. When I think, as Jessica was commenting, we need this. What did you say? Not irreducibility, but incommensurability. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that art can do, or may try to do. What some artists might want that to art, and that also may differ from kind of activism or political things, because artwork tries to deal with, I think, all that's gray tones of different nuances that usually when you deal with art, it's more reduced with words, it's more reduced into positive or negative. Because yeah, usually language uses most of words have a connotation that usually can be split into positive or negative. So yeah, if you try to avoid these things, I think you just need to go to the real artwork and feel try to feel what you feel, and maybe instead of reducing that into good or bad, just try to grasp that essential feeling as it is. Like you can say, you can't really describe to the taste of cheese to someone that has never eaten cheese, for example. And I think that irreducibility of art is something that I think it's a good start point for kind of trying to build a newer or a better social structure from our own foods, not foods that where you studied. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but well, that's what I wanted to thank you very much for listening.